everyone, and welcome to our video tutorial today on reports that are helpful to manage your client accounts. Some of the reports we're going to take a look at today are specifically designed to locate accounts that have debt within them or credit, and can also gauge how long they may have been in debt or credit for, so that you can manage those accounts and follow up with those guests or travel agents or companies to obviously receive payment. It's also a great way for us to locate accounts that may have been in credit due to cancellations, so that you can reach out and ensure that those guests actually do rebook and utilize that credit within a specified time frame. The first report I'd like to show you is our client account debtors report. This is a great overall report to see every single account in your new book system that owes money up until ideally the current day. You can change the date range on here, but just bear in mind it is very much looking at the dates of charges that are owed and the dates that payments are receipted, so it will fluctuate dependent on when items have actually been paid off within the system. So if we have a look at today's date and simply run the report, what you're going to see is a list of the different types of client accounts in your book. So it'll show all of your different types of accounts, such as bookings, groups, events, postmaster accounts, your cash account, anything that you've got set up within the system. And you'll also see in the top here, it's breaking down by my sub client accounts that I have set up in this particular property. So it's showing you where within the account it has money owing. And on the right, it will then show you the overall balance. Bear in mind, you can use the options bar in the top here to column configure if you need to. So simply click on here. If there are additional columns that you would potentially like to add in on that right-hand side, simply click the plus and then save that configuration. If we head down to the very bottom, this is essentially showing your overall debtors are as of right now. So as of midnight tonight, if I haven't paid anything off within any of these accounts, that is going to be my closing debtor balance for the day and my opening debtor balance for tomorrow. If we have a look at our client account debtor settings down below here, again, we can change the date if we want to see what accounts were in debt as of yesterday. And that is very true to the actual time it was in debt and whether or not there was a payment paying it off. So obviously, if an account was in debt yesterday and it was not paid yesterday, it will still appear as a debtor on yesterday's debtor report. But if we paid it off today, it would be removed from the client account debtors report and your overall total would be brought down. Obviously, if I made a new booking today where somebody checked in and they did not pay for their accommodation for tonight's stay, they would go into our debtor report as an amount outstanding, and they will remain there until a payment is actually receipted on the account to balance that off. Down below in the settings as well, on the right, we can adjust how we're looking at this. So if I wanted to print, I can PDF and rerun the report in a printable document. Once that loads, you've got the option again up here to print or download and save on file if you wish to. Otherwise, you can also export to CSV or Excel. And when you do that, it just downloads the report in the bottom panel here, and you can open that to view. If we pop it back to on screen, again, that's just going to view it within the new book system. Within here as well, though, you also have your advanced options, which are really helpful with a number of our reports in the system. So we're taking a look at this particular report's advanced settings. So anytime you see it, please have a look and see if there are any adjustments or filters that you can put in here that might refine what it is that you're looking for specifically. So if I was wanting to potentially look at bookings that have departed that still have an outstanding balance, which technically they're the ones we really want to, get paid off. We don't want it to go too long before we receive payment for them. So I could filter to say I want to specifically look at bookings that are on a departed status and they are in debt as of today. So when I run that report, you'll see the number is reloaded. It's gone down quite significantly, but these are still all the accounts that I am still owed money for. So it is really a matter of reaching out to them and, obviously touching base to receive payment for them. In addition, you can also focus on specific types of client accounts. So that might be group booking accounts that you would like to have a look at. And when you rerun that, that's going to further reduce that report. And it's specifically just showing group client accounts within here as well. The next report I'd like to take a look at is essentially a mirror image of this, but it's actually a creditor report. So it's actually looking at every single account that has a credited amount sitting within it. So this could be a forward deposit for a booking that hasn't checked in yet, or it could be a cancellation credit that's still sitting there unused, potentially a gift voucher that's yet to be redeemed, or somebody that may have actually departed and they've overpaid and for some reason a staff member hasn't balanced it off yet. So if we have a look at our client account creditors report, again, it's essentially the exact same. We've got all of the exact same options. The main difference is that, again, it's looking at whether the account is in a positive amount of money. So once I run this one here, you'll be able to see, again, all of the different types of client accounts, and you can see where within the account has a credit within it and what the overall credit balance is. So this is going to chop and change each day. So if you've got a booking that is due to check in tomorrow and they prepaid a deposit up front, they'll be a creditor until they are checked in, and that deposit will then slowly start balancing off to zero once their complete stay has occurred. So this report is every account that's in credit, again, so forward bookings, cancellation credits, gift vouchers not redeemed, people that have overpaid, anything along those lines. This report is really helpful as well to refine and use to locate any guest client accounts that may potentially have a credit within them due to a cancellation where you've offered to hold the money in credit for a guest so that they can use it for a future stay. So if we head down to the bottom of this page, using our advanced options on this report, I can filter the client account type down to guest and simply run the report. That's then going to show a list of guest client accounts specifically that have a positive amount of money within them. So it's a quick way for us to locate those types of client accounts. So this is for those scenarios where you're cancelling a booking, not refunding the money to the guest, but simply balance transferring the credit into their guest client account so that you can keep tabs on the fact that they do have money to spend at a later stage. And this is really a great way to keep an eye on those accounts and make sure that they're not in credit for too long and that they actually start, planning ahead and making a booking so that you can use that. In addition to our client account creditors report and our client account debtors report, we also have another one that's really helpful to gauge how long these accounts are in credit or debt for. So if I head back into my menu here, and we're going to open up our balances dated report. Some of you may have heard of this report or referred to these sorts of things as an aged debtors or aged creditors report. When you click into here, you can specify if you want to look at debt and credit, or just creditors only. But when you specify in here, you actually can run the report, and you'll notice I've actually got columns in here that show us how long our accounts have been in debt or credit for. So again, this is great if you were running it for your creditors and looking at guest accounts. You could see how long they've had that cancellation credit there for, and potentially give them a call and let them know they need to book in a reservation to ensure that they don't lose that credit once it expires. If you head down to the bottom of this report as well, you've got advanced options where you can also further refine based on some of these settings and filters. For any of you who do invoicing within the new book system, the next report will be helpful for you. So in our main menu search, we're going to locate our invoices report. And this allows us to keep tabs on any invoice in the system that we have generated. So I can focus on specific invoices that might be overdue and unpaid, or unpaid and not yet fully overdue. And once I run the report, it gives me a full list of the client accounts, the invoice numbers, who it was issued to, what it's potentially for, when it was actually due and how much, and what the balance outstanding is. So it is a really great way, again, to sort of keep an eye on accounts where you've created those invoices and given a guest a certain amount of time to pay something, and if it's not paid by that, again, you can kind of run this report, and you can also reach out to them from here. So you can actually bulk tick guests or client accounts that you would like to reach out to, and with those accounts, you can choose to send them an email, and that might be that they're a final overdue invoice email. You could also even send them a statement which shows the invoice amount potentially, plus any other outstanding amounts that might be overdue on their client account as well. The next report that I'm going to take you into is helpful for those of you who use our repeat charge feature within the system. So for any of you who have long-term bookings where you set up your repeat charge, which is an automated fee that rolls onto the client accounts every week, month, or any specific interval that you've set up, when you click into the main menu search here, we're going to locate our booking repeat charges report. Essentially, you want to look at active repeat charges that are still obviously generating. You select the date range and then simply run. That then shows you a list of bookings, where they're staying, their dates, what repeat charge they're set up on and what the amount is next due to roll on, where they've actually paid up until and what their current balance is. We also have this additional column called status, which tells you how many actual days ahead or behind they may be as well. And what their interval is also. So the great thing about this is you can also reach out to them. So if you wanted to bulk select the ones that are overdue and send them a statement to let them know that they have this amount of money outstanding, you can simply do so via the report directly. This can also have certain column configuration adjusted within here if you need to. So again, have a look in here and look at the hidden column to see what additional columns you might be wanting to add in. Two more reports that I'd like to show you. The first one is our deposits held report, which is a great report if you're wanting to specifically look at payments that have been made for future bookings. So payments for, their deposits for the accommodation that they've paid in order to confirm their stay. So this is everyone that's paid their booking deposits. This report also can be filtered out to show security deposits or refundable bonds that you may have taken for guests that are checked in that you need to return. So if I run this report for the month of April and I look at it based off of the date in which deposits have been paid, what I can also do is click into the advanced options and I have the ability to filter what kind of deposit I'm looking at. So if I'm looking at forward booking deposits for guests that are due to stay soon, I can filter it to just show actual booking stay cost deposits. When I click here and then select Run Report, it's going to show me any bookings that have had a deposit paid against them in this period that I'm looking at. If I wanted to run it based off of whether the booking was arriving in the month of April, I could adjust it to this option here, and you'll see it'll show other bookings start loading onto that report. Separately, if I wanted to have a look at security bonds or refundable items that essentially we charge a guest, we keep the money, and when they vacate, once we've checked their room or they've returned their keys, we actually refund them back the deposit. If we wanted to look at that, what we can do in the deposit type filter is remove deposits and select bonds. And then when we run this report, you'll notice it shows two bookings here. You can see they're both checked in, and it's actually telling me the description of the specific refundable items on their account. So I've got a cleaning fee and an extra key set. So I can see we have requested a certain amount of money and it's still being held. So again, they're in-house. We're not going to give them that money back until they've potentially left and we've checked the room or we've had our keys returned. But it's a great way to keep an eye on those items that you need to give back to guests once they leave. Bear in mind there are a number of other settings that you can use in here to refine this report even further, so ensure you have a look in the advanced settings to take a look at what's available. Last report that I'd like to show you is our deposits owing report. So this is a really good report to manage booking deposits that aren't yet paid, so that you can obviously keep an eye on those guests and reach out to them for payment before they arrive or before they become overdue. So similar to this report, but it is our deposits owing report. So if we run this for, let's say, the month of April, you'll see a list of booking accounts within here. You can also see where they're staying, their status, the description of what it is that we've requested. So some group deposits, you'll see there's also event deposits if you happen to use that feature within your book. When it was due, when is the arrival of the booking, the group, or the event, how much was requested and how much is actually owing. So it's a great way to keep tabs on those. And again, you also can actually bulk select and send contact to bookings if you need to, or if you wanted to just send to the group options here, you can click the group accounts and send a group email to them. If you have a look In your advanced options as well, you can refine things like booking status, source, deposit type as well. So guests that might still owe a bond for a security deposit. This will show very similar to the deposits held, but it's looking at ones that actually still owe you money. If you are wanting to find out more about these reports when you're running them, remember to click onto the question mark icon in the top right as well, and that's actually going to show you helpful articles relating to the report. So you can click on here and have a read through, and if you find it helpful, add it to your favorites, and remember that you have your own favorites bar down here for support, which pins helpful articles and videos that you can refer back to at a later stage. That does bring us to the end of our video tutorial today on client account reporting. We hope this has been helpful and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.